Good day to you.
Good day. Hello.
We are recalibrating the channel's connections. Previous blocks have been eliminated and changed, so we are recalibrating the connection for him at this time. One moment.
Yes.
The connection that has, and it will be coming through furthermore through the channel, has been cleared in such a way that it has facilitated a much more clean and open connection for him to be able to connect to us and bring more things through in a much more cohesive way. This is the purpose of having the connection with you and with having the ability to calibrate on the fly, as it were, in his understanding of his reality. It is opening up his way of being to more. He has been given opportunities and ideas and directions potentially to go in that will facilitate his connection further to a higher level.
Thank you.
Yes.
What would a higher level type of connection look like? Be like?
You understand that the idea of these particular transmissions and these particular connections that happen, many of those who actually perceive these connections and watch these transmissions at various times experience the idea of a release of previously long held beliefs and previously long held ways of being. Correct?
Yes.
Many of the people who are watching these transmissions are reporting that they are feeling a more openness. They are feeling a sense of ease. Many of their previously held beliefs are no longer there.
Yes, correct.
Well, with these actual connections, the blocks that were in him prior to previous time period, they were blocking a larger connection that was meant to come through.
Thank you.
Yes.
May we ask a few questions?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. I'd like to learn more, if possible, about our galactic and planetary history. Where did this galaxy come from and the planet come from and all the vegetation and the living beings on it came, and even the atmosphere? Where did all this come from?
There was a time period in your past, billions of years ago, in your counting of time, where your civilization was nothing. Your whole world was nothing. And eventually it did coalesce. The idea that your astronomers, your astrophysicists do understand of them coalescing into a cohesive sphere for people to experience on. But understand that there have been many other civilizations inside of your solar system that you do not know anything about, that have existed in time immemorial, but those planets are no longer inhabitable for those beings to exist on. Understand that the idea of the physical places that you experience, such as Earth at this time, or Mars in the past, or Maldek, or even Venus, at different time periods, those planets were all actually inhabitable and were inhabited by different people learning different lessons.
Thank you.
Many of
I believe,
those types of beings in civilizations now exist on other levels that they cannot be seen by the human eye currently.
okay, thank you. I believe that the Ra mentioned that they were on Venus about 1 million years ago.
Yes,
In
but
physical,
yes, in physical form, but they also were physically on Earth as well. Understand that the idea of those kind of beings, because they exist at such a high frequency, the idea of Ra itself is more of a collective. When they say they were on Earth or on Venus, they weren't physically on the planet. They were coming through different channels at those times.
Okay, thank you. Do civilizations or soul groups evolve from physical to quasi to non-physical?
Yes, as my planet and my people have gone through the stages, much in the way that humans have, where we were purely physical at one point. In my lifetime, we have shifted away from the idea of being quasi physical, even to being more purely non physical. We are shifting to more of a collective consciousness, whereas humans are more shifting into the idea of unity consciousness, but not quite in the same way and not at the same level. You are not quite evolved and energetically elevated enough to be able to actually exist in the same state as we do currently.
Thank you. What would you say you mentioned collective and unity consciousnesses.
Yes,
What are the differences or the definitions of these two, please?
a collective conscious is more in the aspect of you see everyone as all parts of the whole and you can maintain a diverse personalities. Unity conscious is more of the idea of just seeing yourself as one and being able to actually experience yourself in others. You might think by what your historians or your spiritual teachers have taught you as the idea of unity consciousness. We are all one. There is never anything outside of it. It is more perspective in nature where you do not see or understand the reason why you would ever hurt someone else because you see them as yourself. So why would you ever injure anyone else? The idea of the collective that my species exists in is more of the idea we know these, we live these things. We are able to access information from any other part. We have moved past the idea of needing to have just a purely unity conscious where everyone is all one beautiful floating simultaneous. We understand that it enriches our collective by having more of a collective consciousness in our understanding, but we obtain and still sustain our individual personalities because we know it enhances the whole.
Okay, thank you. And in unity consciousness, the individuality or individual will give way to merge with the whole?
Yes, but more this kind of collective is more of an initial stage that you see in many of these types of civilizations who to transfer into that level. It takes generations for these particular types of understandings to more merge into more of a collective consciousness, where you have the ability to separate yourself, but also maintain the collective connection to the whole. More of
Thank
the
you.
conscious that you will see where many people do not have the ability to actually self identify as themselves. So they lose that particular aspect of themselves.
Do you see more humans losing their ability to identify themselves as themselves and switch into more of identifying themselves with the unity?
You will see this for some time. The idea of the collective that you have been a part of and see yourself not eaten up by, you will understand more and more as you raise your vibration because this is the age you are moving into. So many of your people that have decided to forego their ego, forego their identity as a person, and not see themselves as separate, they lose an aspect of their soul, lose an aspect of their personality that allows them to be autonomous, but still be part of the collective as a whole.
So it's a bit in a cult is a little bit like that too, right?
Yes, you do not want to lose the individuality, but you do want to understand that you are part of the collective. You are part of all that is.
Fair enough. Yes. Is that I heard in the 60s and 70s the hippies did similar things. Is it like a similar idea?
Those particular people, the first wave of volunteers, the first waves of souls that were coming through at that particular era, they were more there to start the vibration moving in a higher direction than it was moving prior to that particular time period.
Okay, thank you. And then,
Understand that these individual souls are part of a group of souls moving to change the direction of your planet.
right,
That is why they existed, the outer space personalities.
yeah,
Many of these were actually extraterrestrials incarnated in human bodies. That is why they did not completely integrate into your society, because the frequency was not high enough. So they were not able to integrate their personalities into your collective people.
okay, that makes sense. Is this why they used to consume psychedelics and all kinds of mind altering drugs?
Yes, because it made them more close to the state that they were used to in other incarnations.
Yeah, yes, 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 yes. Yes, I see that.
Understand that the children that are being born now are actually quite a few of those beings that did incarnate at that time. It did not quite live very long. They have had an incarnation on your planet to actually acclimate to living in the world and understand how to be part of it, but not away from it.
Right. So they would come first, say in the 60s and the 70s, and try it out a little bit, and then exit at maybe age of 20 or 30 or 40, and then
Yes,
come back now.
yes.
Right. Um, Ethan, the more incarnations on Earth a soul would have, the more it would feel comfortable or seem to be more like knowing what's going on, as if it came like many times one after the other.
More of the idea, you understand that when you go into your school systems on your planet, is odd to be in an environment where you have no idea what you're doing, correct?
Right.
Those particular souls took a life to be able to become acclimated to your world and your societies.
Okay. What about souls that have never incarnated on Earth and this is their first incarnation? Are those coming too?
Yes, because they are
What?
not caught up in the incarnational cycle like many of the beings that have been on your world for many thousands of years and have had many, many lifetimes. The reason
Right.
they are coming is to end that karma, end that way of being, end that understanding of needing to continue on the karmic cycle that you as a species and as a culture have proliferated for thousands of years.
Right. So these new children would come, it's the first incarnation, and they go, we don't understand how you live like this, warring on each other, stealing from each other. Let's make it completely different.
Yes, because they do not come from a state of survival as many humans do. They see themselves as part of your collective, and they allow themselves to more effortlessly transition into the reality where the world is at peace. You see everyone has what they need, and they move away from the idea of survival as needing to be a necessary part of your experience as being humans on this planet.
Yes, thank you. We have a saying, thrive, do not survive.
Yes.
Yes.
Move beyond the idea of being part of the world in the way that many, many, many people have throughout your history. Understand that also the beings that are incarnating on your planet now are actually more of a new species.
Are more, sorry?
Are more of a new species.
New
They are
species.
beginning stages of the newer species that will eventually inhabit your world.
The Homo galactus?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, good. Thank you for this. What would you estimate the ratio of those first incarnation being born uh, the past decade or now? in compared to the other population being born not first incarnation?
You have the idea of X-Men in your pop culture, correct?
Yes.
The idea of the mutants are that which are beings that started to incarnate and started to manifest abilities, and eventually they start to outnumber the human population.
Right.
This is what you will see in times to come because you are moving through this stage of the acclimation process where many of the beings will start to manifest different abilities that they will be either born with or develop throughout their entire life.
So this is telepathy, farsighting, things of that nature?
Many of the psychic abilities that have been deemed special in the past will become quite ordinary in the years to come.
Okay. How many years or generations until more of half the population born is born with these abilities?
At least 2 generations.
At least 2 generations. Thank you. How can I tell if my daughter, who is 10 now, just about to turn 10, is one of these first incarnations?
Your particular child that has incarnated to you is not first generation or first incarnation for her, but she has not been here very many times.
Thank you. She's having some social issues at school with the other girls.
Yes.
You think she doesn't really have any friends, or sometimes a friend, but not too many?
The ability to understand how to socially interact is typically very difficult for many of these souls because they do not inherently attach themselves to normal social constructs. They are deemed the outsider when they are young, but give them time to develop the ability to actually connect to others, and typically they will find their tribe.
Thank you. I feel
Give
a
them
bit like,
give them space and time.
yes, 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 yes. I can identify because I did feel like an outsider as a child. I wasn't a friendless, but I had to put a lot of effort into having friends.
Yes.
Yeah. So you see it as an opportunity for growth, if any.
All of these opportunities, all these challenges that you humans have gone through were always there for growth. That was always the particular reason that they showed up and gave you the opportunity to reconcile and choose how you would like to look at the situation. Every time it has shown up, whether it has been a challenge in the past or a current situation that you're going through, these are challenges that you are actually connecting with and giving yourself the chance to decide, would you like to continue on with that particular theme by the people you interact with or the types of situations you allow yourself to be in.
Yes.
As we have said many times in many ways, in many forms, and we will say many times more, it is all about your choice.
Mhm. Thank you. When you say continue with the current theme, or pick another, and this is my observation that things are changing more and more rapidly all the time. That means that the friendships or the social interactions may be intense, but they don't last long. We're kids, we have a friend for life, but now it seems that the social interactions, the friends or the intimate relations are very short.
You are going through the idea of an ascension. You are going through the idea of an expansion of your energetic field. As you're going through this process in particularly, you will cycle through things much more quickly.
Right.
This is just a byproduct of that particular experience that you all have been asking for many, many years.
I see this perspective, but I have to say, like, it's known in the big cities like here, about half of the people don't even have a single friend.
Yes, you are in a place of great deal of amount of concentrated energy.
Yeah,
These types of energy locations can actually separate people.
right.
But if you do not have people that resonate with you when you are in these particular energy centers, it is very hard to adapt and connect to others.
Fair enough. Okay, that's good. Yeah, and it makes sense because in the maybe agricultural communities, like you have to come together, otherwise you can't really stay there. So that will generate social connections as well.
Yes. Understand that also when you are in more agrarian societies, more isolated areas, the energy itself is way less intense in nature and how you and everyone else connects with themselves. You are more closely related to the idea of nature. So therefore, the energy itself is easier on you.
Right, 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 right. Okay, so continue this line of thought. Would one ascend? I don't know if I could say this, ascend faster, but have like having a harder experience, life experience in the city. Would it accelerate this individual's personal growth?
Yes, when you're having to deal with very intense situations from a higher level because you did choose these things, and we mean literally you did choose them. You may not remember it, but you did choose it because Earth is a hard school.
Very good. Are we as a planetary society on track to be a little more kind to each other?
Yes, but you
Yes.
still must make it through the process. We have stated this many times.
Yes. From here, it's hard to tell how far we're in the process. We don't have that high point perspective.
Imagine you are in meditation. See yourself in the valley, but then allow your perspective to drift to a person that is sitting on the hill, and then shift back down to the valley, and then shift yourself back up on the hill. When you shift back up on the hill to that higher perspective, allow yourself to draw back the understanding of the person that is sitting at the higher level. Eventually, your vibration and frequency that you have had will shift to more of that of the one sitting on the hill that can see further out along the way. And vibrationally speaking, this will play out more holistically in your reality much more quickly when you're able to see yourself as being on the hill and also in the valley. You create a more open connection to yourself and your higher mind.
Thank you. I will practice that. Um, could you please offer a waking practice? What would one do or not do upon waking up?
Allow yourself to journal the dreams that you have. The more you actually write them down and allow yourself to connect to the lucid state, the dreams themselves become more lucid in nature. So, therefore, your reality becomes a lucid dream.
Right. I have some time, sometimes like around lunchtime, I can just relax and meditate for a little bit.
Yes, it does not quite take as long as many humans think it does, where you need to sit there for hours and hours and meditate and get yourself into a state. Allow yourself to be more active in your meditation and allow yourself to be calm. Drawing yourself to this state, even when you are active, allows you to be in a more active meditation versus needing to sit there and go, The idea of what the channel is doing currently is more or less just meditating, and he's allowing someone else to talk through him.
Right. Thank you. May I switch the subject a little bit?
Of course.
Thank you. I wanted to ask you about the number of the type of crafts, extraterrestrial craft, that are currently around our planet or on our planet.
Yes.
What can you tell me about types of crafts, number of crafts? I'm curious who's around.
Many of the crafts that you see that are not manufactured by your people, understand that the ships that are actually manufactured by humans cannot go very far or very fast.
Right.
But many of the ships that you see that are actual craft around your planet all the time, many of them are interdimensional in nature. So they can take on different forms and different realities.
Thank you. I saw a video clip of what looked like a human like light body hovering in space, and I couldn't tell you if it was a projection or CGI or it was real. Would you know anything about that?
That particular being was projecting themselves from a higher dimension because they exist at a higher frequency, and in the reality that they come from, they are able to fly. They just projected themselves into the sky, and many of those beings are actually quite large that are able to do that.
What was the purpose of showing himself as such?
We have said many times that the number of sightings, the number of ships, the number of beings that start showing themselves to you humans on a regular basis will increase. This is one of the such events.
Okay, I see. And these sightings, if I recall correctly, will be immutable because large groups of people will see them at the same time.
Yes.
What is the next stage after mass sightings?
Open contact.
And what does open contact look like on a mass scale, not on an individual scale like we have now?
It'll be done in such a way that your media cannot deny it, your governments cannot deny it. It'll be done in such a way that we are shown to you, and the ships that you see above your sky are shown to you in such a way that you, as a mass collective, have to decide how you would like to proceed.
Thank you. Do you imagine that the event of mass global planetary sighting will be such a turning point event? Because, as you said, there will be to have made a planetary decision, which is we haven't done that yet.
We do not imagine anything. We know these things. We have done this many times. Each planet does things differently. Each reality that you all shift to, each reality for each of those planets shift to various different ways that you cannot perceive. There are different ways that each civilization, because some of the civilizations that we contact, like what we have been doing with you for many years, of your timing, your understanding of time,
Yes.
do not always choose to join our alliance.
Okay. Okay, thank you. You mentioned that your vibration frequency is very high. It won't be possible for a human to be next to you physically or interact with
Yes.
you directly. Um,
Yes.
So, what would be the interaction if humans cannot sustain physical contact?
Many of the beings that you will actually be interacting with are more along the lines of the Palladians or beings that are more closely look like humans. Ones that are still at such a frequency that you can interact with them in person. We will not be the initial species that actually interacts with you and your civilization in
Right.
person.
At what point do the hybrid children introduce themselves, before or after mass sighting?
After they are
Before.
on your planet currently, but in higher dimensionalities.
Okay, so they will materialize or be accessible to us once some contact has been established.
Yes.
Okay,
You'll be in the proper vibration for us and also them to interact with you.
right. And we've mentioned Pele before. Has
Yes.
has Pele been born yet?
No.
Okay. Would the physical birth of Pele would also be a vibrational event?
Yes. It is a embarkation marker that lets you know that you have raised your frequency to a level where beings such as that can actually manifest.
Okay, okay, I see. When Yeshua came down 2,000 years ago, give or take,
Yes.
was Yeshua's birth also such of a demarcation point?
Yes. He was an example to you as a population, as a world, as many other avatars have been throughout your history, many other beings that have incarnated on your planet. The job that they served is to be an example as to what is possible.
Right. What would be more recent examples of beings like Yeshua or being that come down to show us a better reality?
Many of the idea of social change, people who have come and caused mass social change on your planet, look to them.
I see. Okay.
The ones that inspire, the ones that actually help you grow, the ones that act as leaders without talking down to you or causing people to move in a lower frequency or a lower vibration. Not the idea of exhibiting extra sensory abilities or power beyond your belief. It is necessary at different times to have different forms of power. In this
Right.
case, many of the leaders that you have had in your past that are written about, these are the kinds of people that were brought onto your earth to help guide it.
Thank you. What about people that become exceptionally wealthy, billionaires? What does their soul contract or idea look like to become this? And obviously, have all these opportunities served to just match to that level.
Why does anyone choose to be poor? Why does anyone choose to incarnate into a family where they are abused?
I
There
guess
are
because,
different there are
yeah.
different lessons in each understanding. Those particular souls that choose to incarnate, such as your Elon Musk on your planet,
Uh-huh.
he is causing waves currently, correct?
Yes.
Therefore, it was necessary for him to acquire this level of wealth for him to be able to actually cause the change that is happening on your planet currently.
I see what you mean. And why would others that have achieved exceptional wealth um, use censorship if you use their tools?
Many of those particular beings that are incorporated into the idea of censorship or stepping in and controlling the masses. Many of those are souls that have incarnated on your planet for thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
So they don't know anything else.
Yes. Many of the humans that are on your planet currently have been stuck in the incarnational cycle for many, many lifetimes.
And a being such as represented by Elon Musk would have less planetary incarnation.
Yes, he more incarnates off world. Off your world, anyways.
Okay. So less incarnations, less stuck in the mind, for lack of better words, more of the ability to change, to look for change, to accept change, and to bring change.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
Much as your daughter does not quite connect to her peers, correct?
Yes.
Because she is not necessarily earthbound like many other souls that buy into the social constructs that happen on your world.
So my daughter will have to find like-minded individuals.
Yes. Eventually, this will become easier as time moves forward.
Right. Okay, good. Another subject, please.
Yes.
It is the holiday of Passover coming. And
Yes.
somebody today asked me, what's Passover like in short? And I said, in short, I would summarize it in as free your mind.
Yes.
What would for you, Ethium? How would you summarize the story of Passover, the lesson of the story of Passover?
You quite literally summarized it yourself.
Okay.
The idea of freedom, the idea of celebrating your freedom to be yourself, freedom to be and have your family the way it is, you quite literally intuited the correct answer.
Thank you. And I do feel that this is the time that we live to the ability to free ourselves, and also with help from yourself and from the other beings that are going to come here and hold a fresh perspective.
Yes, we do not wish to dominate you. We do not wish to harm your society. We choose to not cause issues inside of your society in the way it has expressed itself. We see you as family. We choose to come and help you elevate your soul and your being to be able to join us.
Thank you. That is all for today. Thank you very much.
Good day.
Good day.